you're like a jacked 90 kilos now,
And
or
now
89 kilos.
I'm a leanish 90, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, when I say jacked, I mean like with a lot of muscle.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Mainly.
So I was 10 kilos heavier with probably 7 or 8 kilos less actual muscle mass. So I was carrying a lot of weight, a lot of useless weight. And I got like uncomfortable with the way that my stomach came slightly over the top of wherever my pant line was.
Yeah.
So like my stomach would come over and actually spill over a little bit. So rather than sitting there and dealing with that, when I sat, I would pull my pants like up to my belly button instead, so that then that didn't have any spillover. I don't know.
It's just like wearing high-waisted
Pants.
tights or
Yeah.
high-waisted pants.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like necessarily like someone's going to see that
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. It just reminded me of like, man, you've put some weight on. Like, so, and then I would get self-conscious about it in my own like mental state.
Yeah.
So then I would close up and it would just allow me to stop thinking about it for a sec. But it also got to the point where then those sorts of things were the reason why I was like, this is fucking too much. Like, you need to start training again.
And the reason, like, obviously, you know, if you struggle with your weight, like, it sucks. And I know a lot of people that do, and it's unfortunate, and I feel for you guys. But the funny part about what you're talking about is this is something, this is a tick that you have that permeated past when you lost the weight. It's something that you still do to this
Every
day.
now and then,
Yeah.
Yeah, that and pull my shirt out
Yeah.
like that, so that, like, if you watch back on, like, if you ever watch the podcast, you'll see, I reckon, 10, 20 times throughout the podcast, I pull my shirt out like that, and it's so that it doesn't look like my stomach is tight against the shirt. That's what I try not to do.
Yeah, I see it. I notice it.
Yeah, I have weird little tics like that. Another one that I noticed the other day, I've always known that I sort of do it, and I'm doing it right now, is how fucking long I take to get to the point when I'm trying to tell a story. And how many times I can repeat myself while building up to that point.
Yeah, you're not concise.
I'm not concise at
But
all.
I'm the same way. I'm not a concise speaker. Like, I will dilly-dally all the way around to get to a point. How long
we
do
got 10 minutes.
Okay,
It's
cool.
fine. Yeah.
Have you ever noticed any weird tics that I do? Because I have a bunch of them as well.
Not really. Nothing super weird. But as soon as you say it, I'll be like, oh yeah, I do notice that.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
You're going to have to figure it out. That's
What?
part of the... It's
Part of the
fun,
game?
yeah. Yeah, you figure out my tics one day, and then we'll repeat it on the next podcast.
Okay, I'll figure them out.
Today is all about your insecurities.
I'll be Oh, I'm glad. What are we going to name this podcast then? Steve's Insecurities. I reckon it'll get the most listens.
If you have a problem with Steve, he does too.
Yeah.